One of the most fascinating pieces I've ever read is Anne Sullivan's Victorian address when she graduated from the Perkins Institute. I'm going to finally read it. So, Anne Sullivan, presenting to the Perkins Institute graduating class. Today we are standing face to face with the great problem of life. We have spent years in the endeavor to acquire the moral and intellectual discipline by which we are enabled to distinguish truth from falsehood, receive higher and broader views of duty, and apply general principles to the diversified details of life. And now we are going out into the busy world to take our share in life's burdens and do our little to make that world better, wiser, and happier. We shall be most likely to succeed in this if we obey the greater law of our being. God has placed us here to grow, to expand, to progress. To a certain extent, our growth is unconscious. We receive impressions and arrive at conclusions without any effort on our part. But we also have the power of controlling the course of our lives. We can educate ourselves. We can, by thought and perseverance, develop all the powers and capacities entrusted to us and build for ourselves true and noble characters. Because we can, we must. It is a duty we owe to ourselves, to our country, and to God. All the wondrous physical, intellectual, moral endowments with which man is blessed will, by inevitable law, become useless unless he uses and improves them. The muscles must be used, or they become unserviceable. The memory, understanding, and judgment must be used, or they become feeble and inactive. If a love for truth and beauty and goodness is not cultivated, the mind loses the strength from which comes truth, the refinement which comes from beauty, and the happiness which comes from goodness. Self-culture is a benefit, not only to the individual, but also to mankind. Every man who improves himself is aiding the progress of society, and everyone who stands still holds it back. The advancement of society has its commencement in the individual's soul. It is battling with the circumstances, temptations, and failures of the world that the individual reaches his highest potential, his highest possibilities. The search for knowledge, begun in school, must be continued throughout life in order to give symmetrical self-culture. For the abundant opportunities which have been afforded to us for broad self-improvement, we are deeply grateful. We thank His Excellency, the Governor and the Legislator of Massachusetts and the governors and legislators of several New England states for the most generous and efficient aid they have given our school. We thank the trustees for the zeal and invariable interest for which they have shown in all that concerns our well-being. Directors, teachers, matrons, we enter life's battlefield determined to prove our gratitude to you by lives devoted to duty, true in thought and deed to the noble principles you have taught us. Schoolmates, through the dear, happy years we have spent together are over. Yet the ties of friendship and an enduring love and reverence for our school and the sacred memory of whom God has called from her labor of love to be unseen but constant inspiration to us through life. Our bonds of union, that time and absence will only strengthen. Fellow graduates, duty bids us to go forth into active life. Let us go cheerfully, hopefully, and earnestly, and set ourselves to find our especial part. When we have found it, willingly and faithfully perform it. For every obstacle we overcome, every success we achieve tends to bring man closer to God and make life more as he would have it. That was spoken on June 1st, 1886.